Hello, soccer fans, and welcome to the state playoffs. Is where we're at. Edmonds Woodway High School, and they host the Auburn Mountainview Later Lions for the first round of the state playoffs. And Edmonds Woodway had to do it by getting the first seed out of the West Coast South, and then going on to play Meadowdale, winning there 3-0 in the district. Ended up moving on to play Ferndale. 1-0 was the score in the semifinal, and then finally, not really upsetting, but beating Shorewood, a team that they drew with late in the season on a 2-2 score, and ended up upending them 1-0 in that final, the championship game, to put us right here tonight. The Auburn Mountain View Lady Lions had to go through North Thurston in the 3A district out of the SPSL 3A division. They beat North Thurston 3-0 and then Prairie 1-0 in order to end up right here. Edmonds Woodway, the host, having the better record out of the West Coast Conference with the championship there. Keith Neely, we've got 40 minutes per half, of course, in high school soccer, and a lot of fabulous athletes out on the field today. And we'll get to some of those as we get into things here. Edmonds Woodway will now inbound the balls. They're wearing the white kits, pretty much all white, the whiteout. There's Maddie Schultz now trying to through ball up the left-hand side, trying to find Gabby Clark running along, and that will be cleared nicely there by the back line of the Lions. Mountain View in the almost Boise State colors, the blue and orange kits. And they are going from left to right in front of us here at Edmonds District Stadium. Edmonds Woodway, one of those teams that has a lot of offensive power, can score in a hurry on you if you're not careful. Of course, we've seen them here on Sound Live Sports Network on a number of occasions. And of course, they're led by 4 Division I signees, and we'll rally those here. Here's Maddie Schultz now as she turns through the box now, and we'll clear it out into center. Running into center there is Gabby Clark. Clark, a junior, comes out of the midfield, more of an attacking midfielder, although we've seen her up front quite a few times this season. Running alongside the left now, at the left flank, the Melissa Long coming out of the midfield. So far controlling most of the first bit of action here. Edmonds Woodway with the possession. And we'll see what the Lady Lions of Mountain View can muster in the attacking half. Stolen away. Up front it goes and taken away nicely there. Dispossessed by senior forward Nicole Gardner. We've seen her up front for the Lions a few times this season. Running alongside the left now, at the left flank, the Melissa. Now inbounding is Ashley Fonson, junior defender. Centers the ball. And now a little soft right footer. And it's gathered up by the keeper, senior goalkeeper Rachel Pfizer. Pfizer wasted no time, was right on line. Didn't have to parry it away. Just put it right back into play. And now a through ball. Nicely, it goes to Ellie Scholl. Scholl up the right-hand side, gets the center. Here's an offside call. The far AR raising that flag and letting everybody know that we had a warrior inside the box a little too far. Nicely timed. It looked like it was within about a step, maybe half a step of being onside. And, of course, that will develop more as the teams get used to how each other plays, on how you defend, when you hesitate, when you wait for the onside. Schultz now up front, gives way to Clark. Scholl left-hand side, or right-hand side, rather. Tries the through ball, trying to get it to Haley Hull. And now an opportunity, and nicely defensed out of the fullback. That's Kealani Mackey, a sophomore on this team. And now we get to see what Mountain View can do here in the attacking third. Have not had a ball past really midfield with any sort of possession up until now. 5 minutes gone by. Early on here, a opener of the state playoffs between the Auburn Mountain View Lady Lions out of the SPSL and the Edmonds Woodway Warriors out of the Wesco 3A division. And in it goes, taken nicely away there by the keeper. Rachel Pfizer, the keeper at one end, and of course you've got Kiera Towell, a University of Pennsylvania commit, in net for the Warriors. Expertly played. Melissa Long now tries to center. Here's Schultz, gets through. Here's a little left-handed shot right past the keeper and in the goal. It wasn't quite a one-touch. Schultz had to settle one dribble. Turned and looked at exactly where the keeper Pfizer was and then put one right through the wickets, and it's 1-0 just like that. Edmonds Woodway has the tally 7 minutes into this ball game. Brian Arms, the keeper, making no doubt about it. He'll put the ball at the mid spot, and off we go again. And we told you that this Edmonds Woodway team can score goals in droves, and it only took 7 minutes for Maddie Schultz to uncork one and crease the net for the first time for the Warriors, 1-0. State playoffs is where all these teams are gunning, and that one, an errant pass past the near touch line, and out it goes. And only 16 remain now getting into the first round. In the Edmonds Woodway and Auburn Mountain View brackets, Seattle Prep is probably one that stands out. They are number 2 in the state of Washington with an 18-1-0 record. And should either one of these teams get by each other and move on in this contest, they would have to pass either the winner of either Seattle Prep or Sumner. Sumner not as high as Seattle Prep, but certainly not lacking in the state rankings, number 6 in the state of Washington with a 16-3-0 record. Neither Edmonds Woodway or Auburn Mountain View are ranked, although each one has votes. Did not quite crack the top 10. And now here's a long throw in and defended away nicely there, and Melissa Long will try to gather it. It'll go, I believe, past the end line for a corner kick. We'll have to see where the referee, no, it'll be off the touch, so a throw in. And another long throw in. Nice header into the area. Here's some trouble. Here's a right-handed or left-footed kick. No good. And now chasing after it. And into the back of the line. It looked like the ball was nicely headed toward the far post. And there was definitely some room there for senior forward Josette Lake to get a nice look at the net, but it was parried away, and Edmonds Woodway erases some danger in their first real threat from the Lions. And now here they come again. It is Kelsey Emery, now taken down by Haley Hull. Hull will occupy the middle and pass back to Melissa Long. Forward to Schultz, who tries to just hesitate and pass it through. And now is a double team. We'll try to set the offense on a slow build-up. Nicely taken away by the Lions. I see number 24, although I don't have her on my roster, as one of the fullbacks for the Lions. I'll try to gather you a roster. It could be Caitlin Stewart, a freshman, the only 24 I have on the roster. And what a call-up that would be out of the JV side and up to the first side. E-Dub will now pull forward to Schultz. Schultz with the speed will turn it on here and show why North Carolina, the University of North Carolina, sought interest in her. And now along the left-hand side, a burst of speed, gets into the area, has one to beat, into the net it goes, 2! Not quite the same spot, but within about a yard and a half of where she executed the first one. And in the 12th minute, Maddie Schultz makes it a 2-0 score. And you're going to have to put a mark on her early and often if you're the Lions and you want to get equal here. It is so hard to teach speed. And Edmonds Woodway shows how dangerous it can be right there in Maddie Schultz. Here's the through ball trying to find Josette Lake. And it will not come to any fruition on the offense, although off the Warriors and near the touch will reward the Lions a throw in. Cole Gardner now will try the long throw and tries to find Lake. It passes right through, and now here's our right footer on a one touch. It's the upright of the football goalpost behind the net. And now Towell will have to go chase down a ball, and no ball managers here. Even at the state level, you're going to have to shag your own balls, and that can mean a lot of activity for some young'un. And now coming out of the backfield, more speed. And Lake now has to get back all the way into midfield in order to try to defend. Here's Hull. The back pass. E-Dub showing great shape, spreading the field extremely well. And now the far touch, it'll be a foot race. And this time it's won by Edmonds Woodway. And a little right footer right to the keeper. And Visor takes easy control. Gabby Clark is running exquisitely up that right-hand side. It's great space, even in double team situations, is finding herself with a lot of room. And of course, Maddie Schultz will draw a double team almost every time she gets near the rock. Okay, clears. Now Mountainside will try the over. And not a bad try, especially in some danger here. And here comes our right foot, and that'll be just wide of the far post. They tried the home run ball and almost got away with it. And the way that Edmonds Woodway is defended right there, they had 3 behind the ball on the long pass. And sometimes just a lucky bounce is all it takes. His leg got very close. Recovered extremely well off the misplay by the Warrior backs, and was able to at least get a shot off, although it really wasn't anything threatening. And now up the right side, here's another threat by Edmonds Woodway. And again, you see that burst of speed and some dribbling power rest by Clark. Gets into center and now cleared by the Lion back line. And here comes a nice high arcer. Schultz was off sides and had to get herself back onside, and that's why that one was a little bit troublesome for Edmonds Woodway. Giving chase on the far side, senior midfielder Taylor Shirley. With that dark blue headband. Not a warm one tonight. This is not the early August soccer that we saw not that long ago, it seems like, where everybody in the stands was in shirt sleeves and sun was beating into the broadcast booth. Boy, we're shaking our boots up here and we're inside. And it looks like a December afternoon down in the bleachers. Boy, you want to snuggie right up to somebody and leech any heat you can at this point in time under the lights here at Edmonds District Stadium. We're about 15 minutes gone in the first half here. Edmonds Woodway on a pair of goals by Maddie Schultz just outside the near post in front of us here. About 5 marks, about the 6-yard box, just inside the 6-yard box. Found a pair on the near post. And they were just one-on-ones against the keeper and was able to bury one right between the wickets and then right to the right of the keeper. Here's a right footer. And that will go long and errant as Ashley Fonson thought she had a groove and tried to bury one from about 30 yards. And as soon as she shot it, she knew she had leaned back and got some air under it she didn't want. And now we'll go back to anchor that center back spot that she's excelled at all year long. And you can tell right now when you're getting your center back and your wingers near the box on the opponent's side, you're mounting a pretty ferocious attack. Here's Schultz. Out to Hull. And now trying to set things up in a through ball. Back to Schultz. Here's Hull, right foot into the area and wide left near post. But an excellent, excellent shot. Hull, a senior. They've got her listed as a defender. That's probably fairly accurate, although she does work forward very, very well up that midfield. You'll see a lot of her. Here is Long now and taken away there. So far, we've only seen the counter, really, out of the Lions so far. Fonson, reverse. Now trying to find some space. Finally gets it out to Ellie Scholl on the far side. Taken away there. Scholl only a sophomore. And we called her names on a number of occasions, making some excellent runs. Another one of those defenders that works very well forward and takes that overlap route and will hit that cross right into those forwards. And now back on defense as Lake will dribble up, or excuse me, try to take the run in as freshman midfielder Chloe McQuain was trying to find Lake, and back is the possession to the Warriors. Just really dominating early, not only in the tally on the scoreboard 2-0, but the fact that they are owning such possession and in such dangerous parts of the field. Excellent ball, trying to find Long up that right-hand side, 2 running on in the area. So should that had gone through, it was going to be bang, bang, and another tough stop for Pfizer should she get a glove on it. Hull. Out to Long now. Long with the through ball. Into the air, near the area, I guess quite a ways out the 18, probably 10 yards shy of the area. Lake comes up to challenge, and that will probably go back in front of the Edmonds Woodway bench. It will go back to the Auburn Mountainview Lions. Kelsey Emery, the lone signee so far, Division I anyway, from the University of Puget Sound is where she will be heading to play her collegiate soccer. Emery, a midfielder, a senior, wearing number 12. You'll see her in the middle. Edmonds Woodway, where do you start? Maddie Schultz, I already mentioned, on her way to the University of North Carolina, a Tar Heel in the making. Kiera Towle, the senior goalkeeper, University of Pennsylvania, And you can bet the grades go with that. Not everybody signs with Penn. And then Nevada, University of Nevada Wolfpack, Riley Peterson. One of the forwards who we have not seen tonight. And I don't know where Peterson is. And there is a little shake and bake right into the middle of the pack. And maybe it's just a jersey change. I'll have to see. It looked like almost for a while there that Peterson usually wearing number 9. And I don't know if she's on the far side of the field. I'll have to get to look here. And she is out there. She's on the far side of the pitch, right about the 45-yard line. And right there is Peterson taking the ball up. And then a long pass to Schultz. And here comes the hesitation. Here's the move. Right foot into the area, into the box. We have a penalty authorized now. Drawn down in the box is Maddie Schultz. And a chance to make it a hat trick. Should she get the chance to shoot the PK? Schultz with one move, a right foot hesitation, and then a dribble to the left, and it was going to be danger. If you didn't bring her down there, it was going to be one-on-one with the keeper, Pfizer again. And Schultz will take the penalty. "19 minutes to go, first half. Already Schultz 2 tallies in the book." And she'll look down at her feet. A bit of a breath. Surprised she doesn't see it in front of her. Now the assault and into the net. It's just that easy. What a simple game. You just run down and put it in the net 3 times within 20 minutes, you know? Maddie Schultz, goals in the 7th, 12th, and now the 22nd minute. She has scored 5 goals in a game this season, once against Oak Harbor. And at one point in time had scored in every game, I believe 10 games in a row, had creased the net at least once. And that is impressive. And she does it with speed and some quality footwork. You saw it there. That all it took was one hesitation, and suddenly you go from closely marked to unmarked. And it is 3-0 E-Dub. On the far touch now, Emily Grieve will give the way to Malia Brudvik. At the free kick now, must foul on the far side touch, and here's the service into the area. Excellent shot, and another chance now into the area, swing and a miss, and that was the first real opportunity for the Lions. They got in there and had 2 and 3 bodies in the area, clear of any marking. And now E-Dub will come forward, and they can almost afford at this point in time, even as early on as we are, to just choose to sit back. And there's the right foot toward Towel, right side of the net. It'll be a goal kick. And I imagine if you're head coach Bill LeCompte at this point in time, you're not thinking about packing it in. You've had such good success running forward and spreading the field, and why change your game plan to a bunkering stance when you've done so very well pressing forward? And now the Lions are going to have to show a little bit more tenacity in the offensive third. And certainly, speaking of tenacity, Ellie Scholl comes through and strips the ball away, and now we'll bring it up now outside the far touchline in front of our own bench. We'll not quite get to it. Edmonds District Stadium on the Sound Live Sports Network, presented by Shoreline Community College. Thanks for being part of our very cold evening. Hope you're enjoying a nice warm fire somewhere and watching this ball game. Excellent crowd for being as cold as it is, but you would expect the state contest to have some butts in the seats for sure. There's Peterson trying to get through midfield. And right now the midfield is a bit gummed up. And maybe Edmonds Woodway is deciding that pulling it back in, maybe just what the doctor ordered, at least through the half. We talked about Riley Peterson heading to University of Nevada. The one that we have not talked about as far as D1 signees for Edmonds Woodway is Ashley Fonson. Only a junior. Will be a Beaver in a couple of years. Oregon State University, her school of choice. And you forget that two of these young ladies, only juniors, and have already committed. And now it looks like Melissa Long will exit. And coming into the ball game now for the first time, I was going to say number 2, but that's Maddie Schultz, and she's certainly been in the ball game more than just a little bit. Bonson with the throw in. Now Peterson. Long service that is taken away. The intent was to go to Isabella Meager. Meager, senior. Hole. Up forward, trying to find, once again, it's Maddie Schultz. And here comes the right-footed service in toward Peterson. There's the left foot, one touch, no, just wide off the far post, but an excellent look. And very composed. And that one-touch strike, and that came off the foot of Gabby Clark. Clark with the composure there was able to know where her defender was top side, and she had some room on the left. All she had to do was get the ball to her foot with some control, turn, and spin. And it took one little hesitation dribble, and she was able to throw it right to the far post, just a little bit wide and outside the reach of Rachel Pfizer. Now, Scholl will come back up. Fonson. Out front to Scholl. Scholl will bring it back, looks midfield. Here is Schultz. Back to Fonson. And now turning the attack to the far sideline. They go through Monroe. And now dancing along that right-hand side, Meager will get it into center and coming out. Losing it for just a second as it gets out of her grasp is Pfizer. And she has to bear crawl about 3 yards to recover the soccer ball and finally get it clear. And that could have been an opportunity for Edmonds Woodway had they kept their march toward the goal. Nobody really realized that Pfizer had lost it. And out it goes. Lake now, hands on hips, having a conversation over there with junior forward Emily Grieve, trying to figure out how they're going to crack this Edmonds Woodway defense. As the ball's gathered off the track and out of the ditch and over the bridge and through to Grandma's house, here it comes. Back onto the pitch we go, but boy, it's an effort to recover soccer balls here. No doubt about it. 11 minutes left here in the first half. Edmonds Woodway already 3-0. And they've done it all through their junior leader, Maddie Schultz. And now Schultz trying to be a little pesky on the defense as he dubbed 5 bodies past the 20-yard mark. Now they'll bring a couple in order to attack, but they have definitely taken a different shape in the back line. And there's a nice header toward the area. Tal not concerned. We'll just kind of sidestep 2 steps and pick it up off the artificial turf and give it a boot. Scholl with the foul call. Little forearm shiver right into the back of Caitlin Hansen. and the Lions will take possession back at midfield. If I had to guess, I'd say possession is probably about 70-30 at this point in time. Edmonds Woodway. Here's a right foot trying to get a through ball, and two defenders right there. And right now, a lot of just taking stabs at things for Mountain View, trying to see what's going to work. Just trying to take some pokes to see if there's going to be a breakdown in this defense. And so far there isn't. That one wide and soft to the right of the near post. Auburn Mountain View 12-5-1 on the season. They lost a couple early and then went on a monster winning streak before falling to Sumner, who's right ahead of them in the standings, 1-0 back in October. So really had a good string of wins in a row, including, see, Auburn Riverside, Auburn, Bonnie Lake. The only two losses back-to-back, back on September 16th was to Sumner 2-0 and then Sumner 1-0 on October 9th. So that's kind of been the bugaboo, has been Sumner. And that probably has something to do with the fact that Sumner is number 6 in the state of Washington. Auburn Mountain View finished right behind Auburn Riverside and Sumner in the standings. Sumner with a 13-1-0 league record. Auburn Riverside 12-2-0, although this Mountain View squad had beaten them. And Auburn Mountain View in third place. Edub in the Wesco 3A was only behind Shorecrest in the regular season standings, but would take the number 1 seed into district because Shorecrest drops to 2A for the playoffs. And they're not too shabby of a squad either. They're ranked in the state of Washington, number 7 with a 15-4-0 record. And now a back pass, and Edub will bring it back in. So Shorecrest, you eliminate them, even though they beat you once in the regular season to get that top spot. You get the number 1 seed in the playoffs, and then 2 wins, and you're in. The number 1 and very important seeding in the first round of the state playoffs. And that may have a little something to do with this 3-0 record that we're looking at right now. Not record, but score. And a 3-0 record in the state of Washington would put you right into the playoff, or right into the final game. If you were able to get past this one, past the next one, I guess it would put you in the, it'd put you in the semifinals at least, or the final 4 down at Sparks Stadium in Puyallup. And you'd have to play in back-to-back nights. November 1st would be the semifinal game, the final 4, if you will. And then November 22nd, that next day, would be the championship. So Friday the 21st, Saturday the 22nd, that's only a week away. That's 9 days away. You've got to play 4 games in 9 days to get to that championship game. It's very doable. Most of these kids playing on select teams, they've got wind, even when it's minus 18 degrees out. At least that's what my toes are telling me. Getting nods from our producer, Teresa Whipple, and our technical director and very gloved Angelo Camo. And we're in a heated press box, and we're still just dancing up here. And yeah, heat is a very relative term. We're warmer than the folks in the stands are. Pfizer now will kick it clear and back into the center backfield. Edmonds Woodway doing an outstanding job of maintaining possession, and once again Hull will drive the engine room through the midfield. There's a tap forward, had 2 running on and split the wickets. And now we'll go back and play a little defense. And really there hasn't been any organized offensive attack that the Lions have been able to put together. A couple of counterattacks, one long home run ball that had a little bit of legs, and a couple of set pieces that looked dangerous for a time. But aside from that, they really haven't been able to get anything together. And they're going to have to go into the locker room and at least figure out what that is going to be coming out here in the second half. And, of course, you're going to have to equalize, not only get goals to equalize the game, but you're going to have to find the equalizer for Matty Schultz. And right now, that speed doesn't seem to be anything that the Lions can occupy a single body on. It's going to have to be probably 2 and 3 folks behind the ball. And with the 3-0 lead, you may not see her forward as far or as often as we did there in the early goings. Here's the throw in by Harris. And it's knocked away once again, Hull. And the long shot right at Tao, who just makes a big old swat with the right paw and brings it right in for the goal kick. Fonson will center. Now up front. Back to Hull. Now to Scholl. And running on, here's Scholl now tries to split the defense and get the through ball and can't quite do it. Maybe one too many dribbles there, and now Edmonds Woodway will recover after having the ball taken away. Here is Ellie. No, that is Fonson rather with a tackle, and a great job at tackling. And now Scholl will bring it in. Here's the center. Edmonds Woodway doing a great job of finding space in the center, as one running on toward the middle of the area was Matty Schultz. Also up front is Monroe, Allison Monroe, finding some space. And it almost looks like the Lions are running more of a 4-4-1 offense. 4-4-1-1 offense up front. They kind of stagger their forwards and draw one back in the midfield. It's almost more of an attacking midfield, or a 4-5-1. And that lone forward being Josette Lake doing most of the work up front. And also bringing McQuain up. Pardon me. And we've got an offsides call, as McQuain did not quite get past the defenders there after the change in possession. And an offside call by the near AR. And a good call at that. Hull now will center the ball. Here's Fonson. Now to Hull. And it's taking 2, 4, 6, 8 Lion defenders in order to get clearance in the last 2 possessions. And that makes it very hard to get a counterattack when you've got 8 players behind the ball. We'll see how that develops. Up the left-hand side goes Lake, tries the center, and it's knocked away. It will be a corner kick. No, they say last touch by Lake. And Tao will clear it. And now in for the first time is number 6, just junior defender Kelly Brudvik for the Lions. Matty Schultz did not play with this team as a sophomore. He was with the junior national team. I guess if you got to make a choice, that's not a bad one. And has played on a number of junior national teams since then. There's the pass, and a great job at getting the ball to Ellie Scholl. Now we'll see if she can center. Running on. Here is Clark, and the shot right at the keeper. But a great setup and a great build-up for Edmonds Woodway, and they've proven they can do that more than one time. Monroe running up the left-hand side. Riley Peterson was in the mix. Clark now. Back to Hull, which with the ball on that right-hand side. Jacqueline Metz, senior midfielder, coming up. And now right in front of the Lion bench. Metz will throw it in, tap back from Monroe. And now centering to Hull. And that was a mistimed run on by Maddie Schultz. A little bit of miscommunication there. She turned and broke early. There's Scholl. Keeping your feet, keeping possession. Now to Schultz, will back pass and center. Here comes the attack once again. 2, 4, 6, again, 8 players from Mountain View behind the ball. They are definitely trying to make sure the damage stays at 3-0 at this point. Now a long lead pass up front to Ness. And that is taken away by Metz. Mountain View having trouble right now getting past midfield. And here's a long shot. And over the net. A right-footed bomb by Fonson. About 35 yards out on the football field. More like about 45 yards. And the way she geared up, you knew she was going to take the stab. That's true. You put a wall of 8 defenders in front of me, I'm gonna go for the home run. Why not? So we are at the 2-minute mark now, and into the final bit of the first half here at Edmonds District Stadium. Here's the forward pass to Lake. Lake running up the right-hand side now. Will concede the defense and a kick on the near touchline out of bounds. And a set piece for the Lions. So far, 3 set pieces and about 5 minutes of total offense in the final third, the offensive third for the Lions, and they've really struggled to have anything. And again, they're expertly taken away by the defense, and that will be the first half. Edmonds Woodway riding the coattails of Maddie Schultz. 3 goals, 1 in the 7th minute, 1 in the 12th, and 1 in the 22nd. The hat trick already in her pocket as she heads into the locker room with her Warrior cohorts with a commanding lead in the first round of the state playoffs here on Sound Live Sports Network. We're going to take a halftime break and be back in a bit. Stay tuned.
Clogged drain? Other plumbing problems? Call Action Jackson Plumbing for 24-hour service. Owned by a lifetime Edmonds resident and Edmonds Woodway grad, Action Jackson is the drain cleaning specialist. They can unclog most internal drains for only $99 plus tax. Call 425-877-5601 or visit actionjacksonplumbing.com.
Are you a whiz in filmmaking? Do you want to become extraordinary in filmmaking? Then come to Shoreline Community College and work with Shoreline Productions, where you will learn to transform your work in teams of working professionals and students to create enchanting effects such as green screen, text animation, and so much more. So come to Shoreline Community College, where you can mystify and dazzle in filmmaking.
Welcome to Northwest Best, brought to you by Smart Service Subaru. Here's your host, Mike Halsey.
We're back at the Red Onion in Mount Lake Terrace, and I'm with the owner, Sean, and the food here is absolutely terrific. The burgers are made with 100% beef, made to order with fresh ingredients. And you're involved in a lot of community projects.
Yes, Mike, we are. With the help of our loyal customers, we're able to give back to our community. Such as we take 100 kids shopping with cops and join us for our terrific Tuesday fundraisers. Join us
at Red Onion Burger. And thank you for watching.
People assume quality car insurance has to cost more. People assume too much. The truth is, drivers who switched to Allstate last year saved money and got better protection. So get the facts, because you know what they say about people who assume. They pay more for car insurance than you and me.
To see how much you can save on car insurance and much more, call Jeff Smar. Jeff's office serves many areas including Linwood, Edmonds, Bothell, and Mount Lake Terrace. He can be reached at 425-949-7103 or jeffsmar@allstate.com.
Hey sports fans, do you want to know when and where your favorite teams in the Westco Conference are playing? Who won the game last night and what the current standings are? Well, it's easy to find out on westcoathletics.com. The information is entered by athletic directors and coaches, so you know it's accurate and up to date, making westcoathletics.com the place to view official scores, schedules, standings, and photos for all the schools and all the sports in the Westco Conference. Follow us on Twitter and Facebook and check out westcoathletics.com, the official website of the Westco Conference.
Clogged drain? Other plumbing problems? Call Action Jackson Plumbing for 24-hour service. Owned by a lifetime Edmonds resident and Edmonds Woodway grad, Action Jackson is the drain cleaning specialist. They can unclog most internal drains for only $99 plus tax. Call 425-877-5601 or visit actionjacksonplumbing.com.
Are you a whiz in filmmaking? Do you want to become extraordinary in filmmaking? Then come to Shoreline Community College and work with Shoreline Productions, where you will learn to transform your work in teams of working professionals and students, to create enchanting effects such as green screen, text animation, and so much more. So come to Shoreline Community College, where you can mystify and dazzle in filmmaking.
Welcome to Northwest Best, brought to you by Smart Service Subaru. Here's your host, Mike Halsey.
We're back at the Red Onion in Mount Lake Terrace, and I'm with the owner, Sean, and the food here is absolutely terrific. The burgers are made with 100% beef, made to order with fresh ingredients. And you're involved in a lot of community projects.
Yes, Mike, we are. With the help of our loyal customers, we're able to give back to our community. Such as we take 100 kids shopping with cops and join us for our terrific Tuesday fundraisers. Join us
at Red Onion Burger. And thank you for watching.
People assume quality car insurance has to cost more. People assume too much. The truth is, drivers who switched to Allstate last year saved money and got better protection. So get the facts, because you know what they say about people who assume. They pay more for car insurance than you and me.
To see how much you can save on car insurance and much more, call Jeff Smar. Jeff's office serves many areas including Linwood, Edmonds, Bothell, and Mount Lake Terrace. He can be reached at 425-949-7103 or jeffsmar@allstate.com.
Hey sports fans, do you want to know when and where your favorite teams in the Westco Conference are playing? Who won the game last night and what the current standings are? Well, it's easy to find out on westcoathletics.com. The information is entered by athletic directors and coaches, so you know it's accurate and up to date, making westcoathletics.com the place to view official scores, schedules, standings, and photos for all the schools and all the sports in the Westco Conference. Follow us on Twitter and Facebook and check out westcoathletics.com, the official website of the Westco Conference.
Welcome back on the Sound Live Sports Network. 3-0 the score here at the half. Edmonds Woodway with a very damaging leads, or so it would seem, here in the state playoffs, the first round against the Auburn Mountainview Lady Lions. 3-0, all from the feet of Madison Schultz, the junior forward with the hat trick. And she did it early and often. Seventh minute is all it took her to get the ball at her feet, just about the left-hand side of the 6-yard box, and was able to turn around and face Rachel Pfizer, the goalkeeper for the Lions, and put it right between the wickets for the score. And in only 5 minutes later is all it took her to be able to put that burst of speed with the run down the left-hand side, was able to get past the defense and only just outside the 6-yard box, inside the area, and put the ball into the back of the net for a 2-0 score. And then it took her a little bit of time, able to pace herself. Only 10 minutes later, in the 22nd minute, was able to get the back of the net creased for the final time in the half, 3-0. And Madison Schultz so far has done it all for the Warriors. And Auburn Mountainview, they're going to have to come back and play not only the much better defense. We saw a lot of defense out of the Lions in the final 10 minutes of the first half, but that was more out of just pure have to. And at one point in time, 8 girls behind the ball inside the 20-yard line, if you see the markings on the football field. And boy, when you only allow yourself 3 forward, the counterattacks are going to be easy to pick off and hard to really muster any force and any build-up forward. So not a bad line, and certainly a decent shape for the Lions as they hunkered down and played defense and kept the Warriors off the board in the final 18 minutes of the contest. But boy, that's not a way you're going to find yourself back into a ball game, at least at the state level. And you're going to have to take some chances, get some bodies forward, and try to get at least one goal and get something started. Prove to your teammates and your coaches that you can get yourself back into a ball game. Edmonds Woodway is as efficient as they've been on offense. You've got to credit their defense also, because it's probably been about 5 to 8 minutes of total real offense that the Mountain View Lady Lions have been able to get into the attacking third. And they've done a great job at defending set pieces, been able to get marks and bodies into the area. And even though there's some great service, and a couple of times, I remember one time specifically about the 16th minute, that there was a Auburn Mountain View near post corner kick that had some, or throw in, that was a very good service, a long throw just outside the 6-yard box that fell right to the turf. There was not a marking. It looked like on 2 or 3 blue jerseys, but they were about as unaware of the ball being in their area as the Edmonds Woodway defenders were, and Edub was able to clear. But that was really the only danger mark there have been a couple of long kicks and not a real shot on target. A lot of poking and a lot of testing around the area, but nothing that keeper Kiera Towle couldn't handle with ease or watch fly right over the net or beside the net. And we'll see if she's tested it all here in the second half. 40 minutes back on the clock. We'll take a brief timeout here before we start the second half of action and be back on the Sound Live Sports Network.
People assume quality car insurance has to cost more. People assume too much. The truth is, drivers who switched to Allstate last year saved money and got better protection. So get the facts, because you know what they say about people who assume. They pay more for car insurance than you and me.
To see how much you can save on car insurance and much more, call Jeff Smar. Jeff's office serves many areas including Linwood, Edmonds, Bothell, and Mountainview Terrace. He can be reached at 425-949-7103 or jeffsmar@allstate.com.
Edmonds Woodway coming right back on the field, having the white kicked. Kiera Towle, the keeper, in the green top. Takes 2 steps back about the 5-yard line, and here comes first service now, trying the long run up the far sideline. Melissa Long running, trying to find the little crease. A nice happy skip and a jump there. And a smile on her face as she comes back in. And now Long up to Peterson. And Peterson trying to find Schultz running left-hand side. Seem to be favoring now the left attack route are the Edmonds Woodway Warriors. And now here's a little bit of that offense. Towle will come out, waits right about the top of the box and scoops it up with Lake coming on strong in the area, wearing number 32. Hole. Now we kick it out to Fonson on the left-hand side. She's challenged hard and heavy by the freshman, and McQuain being pesky back there. And that's what you're going to have to see, a little daylight, little life out of this offense. And you can see that the pep talk in the locker room for the Lions was to show a little more tenacity, show a little more fire. And they're certainly coming out with a lot more energy than they were able to show in the first half, at least early on. We'll see if they can keep up that style of play, see what kind of form they can develop here. Harris. Back pass now to Tanberg. And then taken away there as Metz just content to knock it back toward midfield. Long throw in, trying to find Lake. And here comes the Edmonds Woodway attack. And you can tell the forwards now in midfield for Mountainview are pushing forward a lot further than we've seen and almost playing more of a defensive role in the attacking third, just trying to be pesky and trying to get a loose ball, trying to get anything started they can. And we'll see if the counter pays off for Edmonds Woodway, should they be able to spring one out here. Here comes the center, coming into Brudvik. And then taken away by Schultz. Schultz, long lead pass. And she'll find Clark. Clark drops it back for Peterson. Back to Clark, and then that's taken clear. And then here comes the challenge. Long doing a great job on that left-hand side. And now up and over the head of Clark and everybody past the far touchline. Very impressed right now with Melissa Long. Out of the senior, out of the midfield, has been challenged a number of times on that far side and by Baquane and also Emery, the University of Puget Sound signee. And she's drawn a couple of bodies over there in the midfield and has maintained possession almost each and every time, has won her challenges and those 50-50 balls and has come away with it, and that largely is why Edmonds Woodway has had such great possession. Monroe. They finally get it up front to Hull. Hull with a chance now, has one running on, left foot toward the keeper and wide near post it goes, but a great shot and a great setup. And should it rebound, not only was Schultz there, but you also had Long running up the right-hand side toward that near post. Taken away by Peterson. And now the long pass up front by Emery. And quickly in transition, back come Edmonds Woodway. Here's the long pass. And here's a bit of a danger now as it gets to the feet of Lake. Lake will spin into a double team and then cleared. The center backs for Edmonds Woodway both collapsed on Lake. Great job by the defense, and now cleared. Lake doesn't have a lot of daylight. Once she's able to get forward, and in this half, it looks like she's actually able to get forward more often than she had before in the first half. UW doing a great job at marking through the area and putting an extra body on her because it takes so long for the midfield for the Lions to build forward that there really is no overlap. Here's Schultz. Hesitates. Now will withdraw the ball and put on that burst of speed through the midfield. Finally a long lead pass onto the far side. Here's Fonson to Peterson. Trying to find Long up the right-hand side, and they'll have to go back through the midfield. Excellent job at maintaining possession. And Schultz with the header. And clearing out now. Long looked like she knocked it out, but the near assistant says no. It'll go back to the Warriors. Mets throw in. Monroe. Peterson tries to scoot it through the triple team to Metz. And that won't happen. And once again, into some great defense. Here's the long ball. No. Trying to find the through to Long. And the AW build-up, slow, steady, and sure. Obviously a very disciplined squad, although that inerrant pants is Peterson didn't act like she knew the ball was coming toward her or was ready to try to see where she was as far as making an onside attempt. And now EW with a yell from the sideline will bring it back up through this right-hand attack lane. Long, back to center, loses it. Lake trying to do a little bit of body shield will knock it out. A little bit frustrated with herself. Puts her hand to the hair and now will turn on. Here's the pass forward to the freshman, Baquane. And EW is not afraid to move their defenders forward. Right now only two behind the ball in any defense, but by the time there is any pressure put on them, just like this, watch Lake and watch the defense now for EW right there. Just a straight takeaway by Long. Well, they will turn three back, and as soon as you can blink, they've got a full shape backfield. Very impressive transition. There's the right foot and a bender. Bonson took a shot, and Pfizer had to track it right into her gloves, and that is a goal kick. And a great shot from that distance by Fonson, and we've seen that a couple of times from her now, 2 or 3 times. She's obviously very comfortable taking the shot. And up 3-0, why not? Defender wanting a piece of the action. There's a little cheeky back heel, as they would say. Peterson trying to work forward. And now a bit of a build-up is once again stalled, and that's about how the entire ball game has gone so far. The match has been nothing but that. A takeaway, a chance for a counter, and then some very, very good Edmonds Woodway defense. Forward pass trying to find Peterson. And now Lake will give chase up this left-hand side and almost looked beat. As soon as she saw Metz was going to challenge for the side, she pulled up. So Lake very frustrated at this point. Whether that's with herself or with her teammates or with the outcome of the ball game so far through the first 50 minutes of play. Hard to tell. There's Lake, and it's misplayed out of the near touch. We'll go back to E-Dub. Metz is giving her fits down there. There's no doubt about it that she's going to have to earn any shots now, and there really haven't been any true shots on goal that have given Towle any fits at all. One or two that have been soft, that maybe a half a stride or more of all it has taken in order to gobble them up. And we have 29 minutes now to go here in the second half of play. The winner moves on. Loser is done. That's how the state playoffs work. Not quite like basketball where you get past the regional round and then you get to enjoy a double elimination tournament. This one, and you can see why, the way that it gets cold and long into the season on some of these fields, that you can't really afford to go 90 minutes twice a day, as you can play basketball a couple of times. And once again, Lake just not able to maintain possession in the face of the excellent defense of Jacqueline Metz. Metz, a senior, playing like a senior. Extremely strong. Now we've got a substitution on the field for the Lions, as Lily Levine comes on and replaces the junior Brudvik. Levine up off the JV squad, getting her taste of state soccer. Levine, a freshman. The big long legs and long ponytail to go with it. Over here on the right wing, or left wing rather. Pfizer with the long shot. We'll find Lake. Lake is really struggling at this point in time to maintain possession. And E-Dub will back it up and reload. And at this point in time, you really don't need the fresh legs. You're not running the field nearly like you were in that first half, as the ball knocked away for a moment. And then here comes that speed once again. Nicely taken away by Brudvik. And that might have been Grieve that left. Said Brudvik the first time. It might have been Grieve that came off. And E-Dub right back at it. Here comes it, the counter through the midfield. Running on the long one here is Maddie Schultz. Look out. She's got the wherewithal to make it happen, and quickly back are three defenders. Here comes the service into the area, headed away. And that'll be a corner kick. It was Metz that got into the area. And Schultz found her. And a great bit of defense there for the Lions. And now a set piece on the corner. It will be the junior Fonson with the corner kick. Here comes the shot into the area and knocked away. And a great job at tracking that by Emery. Here comes Lake on the counter, knocked away. McKee, almost for a second there, pardon me, didn't look like she wanted to track Josette Lake. Saw her coming on and realized that if she tackled outright, it was going to be painful. And now turning around, the great protection from Long will earn the throw in. But once Lake got in there and got a body on, it was enough to get rid of the possession. And that should go back to the Mountainview Lions. As Metz not able to keep the ball at her feet. 25 minutes remaining here in the contest. Edmonds Woodway with the 3-0 lead. 7th minute, 12th minute, 22nd minute. All the goals from Maddie Schultz. And there's a foul as Metz and Lake stir it up just a little bit. Metz quite diminutive compared to Lake, both in height and girth, but not afraid to get right into the big midfielder and make her know she's there, and has done a great job at being very tactically defensive and strong over there. It's a tough draw when you know you've got the star forward of the opposing team, and some players relish in it. Some are challenged by it. Metz has done an outstanding job. The senior has taken the brunt of that duty so far today and have shut Lake completely down. And sometimes just Lake looks absolutely frustrated with the situation. Here's the Peterson getting forward now to Schultz. And a foul on the double team, a little pinch. And Schultz turns the shoulder, and good call. For a while there, it looked like there might be advantage. The referee giving a bit of a pause to try to see if Maddie was going to recover the ball, and Schultz was not able to, so that was when the whistle, why the delayed whistle. And now the freshman running on their right-hand side. Here comes Levine. Has it taken away. And that's Ellie. No, that's Fonson. I'm sorry. Fonson up that left-hand side. And Fonson impressive. She'll show her own burst of speed. Here's Schultz. And Fonson will go gather it up. Being run right beside stride by McQuain. And now McQuain will take it. And a chance now for Mountain View as Fonson clears in front of her own bench. E-Dub 15-3-1. And right now you're almost to the point in the season where you throw the records out, because every team's going to be right there. The next opponent for Edmonds Woodway will have a state ranking next to their names should they get past tonight. Seattle Prep, second in the state of Washington. 18-1-0. And the other team that is a potential after tonight is Sumner, 16-3-0. So it doesn't get any easier. You got to either play number 1 or number 6 in the state of Washington, and your team isn't ranked. Neither one of these teams falls into that top 10 category, although both teams have received votes. And In the Seattle Times, they're ranked as on the bubble, both Auburn, Mountainview, and Edmonds Woodway. And Auburn Mountainview going back to that backed-in defense, almost as if they have the 3-0 lead. More of a 4-4-2 setup. Although the 4 and the 4 are probably within 5-10 yards of each other on defense right now. Haley Hull. He's the captain of that engine room, heading through the midfield. And now they get it to Lake. Lake forward to McQuain. And he double take it right back. Minutes. We're at the halfway mark through the second half. So we're at the 1 hour mark here at Edmonds District Stadium, the first round of the state playoffs between the Auburn Mountainview Lady Lions and the Edmonds Woodway Warriors. Edmonds Woodway wasting no time and getting on the board, and at this point in time just holding on. Although have, as of late, probably the last 5 minutes or so, started to show how they got there and putting a lot more people forward and pressing a lot more than we have seen it at any other point in the first or in this early goings of the second half. Here is Metz. Peterson will just turn and take it back through the line now. Running on is Levine on the defense, out of the defensive backfield. Hole and Levine, long legs and a lot of speed and not a lot of control, but keeps possession for the Lions as it goes off the far touchline and allows the gals in the blue and orange to regroup a bit. Not a whole lot of seniors on this Lions roster, the varsity roster. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I guess 9. Not bad. But a lot of youth also. 2, 4, 6 juniors. 2 sophomores, 2 freshmen. And then you go down into the JV, which has a couple of call-ups, including Levine, the freshman. You know, a lot more soccer coming up. They're going to be good for a while. Nice crowd, you hear them below us, very vocal. Now we've got a substitution for Edmonds Woodway as Hole goes off and to get a much deserved break. And you wonder if you're going to go for the water first or you go for the warm blanket first. Well, we're going to go for the gloves. I was 0 for 2. You better believe it. Gloves, beanie, hand warmers, pocket warmers, 3 pairs of coveralls, 6 pairs of long stockings, and you might be warm on that far sideline. Maybe. Little hesitation move. Right foot toward the keeper and running on is Schultz. Had a chance to pick it up again off the Fonson shot. Trying to get the counter to work. A lead pass from Grieve up to Lake is errant. "34 degrees in the greater Edmonds metro area. That's soccer in the great PNW, that's for sure. And you can bet with a 3-0 lead, one of these teams feels a lot warmer right now than the other one does. Running on now as substitute is Long. Been in the contest prior. 16 minutes is all that is left as Fonson brings it up through the midfield. Which I believe that was Metz. Now onto the near sideline is Long. Long crosses over, has a shot. Well, might have taken it there. Had a wide open look and went right to the center. Not a bad teammate play. But about 5 yards inside the box, her left foot would have buried it right into the far corner if she could have looked up for half a second. But I think she was so content with drawing the bead on those forwards that were heading right down the gut. She decided not to take the shot herself. An excellent setup move. Started right, crossover dribble left, found herself with about 3 yards of space, about the 10-yard line there on the football field, and I thought she was going to let it fly. There's the throw in now. Taken away. Grieve turns and tries to clear. That could have been Brudvik. No, that was Grieve. Grieve with the black headband and ponytail there, trying to mark Melissa Long. There's the shot with her right foot. Taken away for a second. Pfizer comes expertly off her line to come out and get the ball and start this counter attack. Not a hesitation. Of course, the keeper, you want to make a decision. Worst thing for a goalkeeper is indecision. And if you cannot make it quick enough to get off the line and either decide you're going to come out or hold your mark, you got to make it early and stay with it. And that time, Pfizer did an outstanding job of both. Onside. Here's Scholl. She tries the right foot. Bit of an off-balance shot for Ellie Scholl. And it goes inside the near post, wide right. But did a good job of showing her speed. And we've seen less and less Maddie Schultz. And Scholl challenged on the near touchline by Harris. And Porter, a sophomore, into the ball game. Hallie Porter. There's the throw in. Nice header by Clark. And here's a chance. Shot on goal. Knocked away. Rebound in the net. Here's her goal. (4-0) Edmonds Woodway. I believe that was Savannah Norton, the junior, that was able to pick up the rebound and knock it home with 12:26 left to go in the contest. So the 68th minute. EW doesn't look like they're going to slow down. Mountainview Lady Lions, I don't think at this point in time you really want to just sit back and lick your wounds, but it's tough when you've got such a talented squad in the Warriors. And there's a foul, and that will be easily called as Long got tied up. And it looked like there might have been a slight jersey tug on Harris. Harris knew it. I think the crowd knew it. It was just a matter if the referee had seen it. And then the near side assistant makes that call. And in it comes. Multi-ball now. I always thought if it was a soccer match was tied after the first overtime, multi-ball should be put in play. I think you'd have a much more entertaining way of finishing a soccer match than PKs. I don't think I got a lot of FIFA supporters. No. That deaf, dumb, and blind kid, he'd be with me. A little Who referee. I guess I'm showing my age now. The right foot by Melissa Long. Long now. Ooh, right in to the face of Harris. And I'm surprised Harris is still upright. Finally, Lake will come over and knock it clear. Last touch by Lake. And a substitution now coming in for the Lions as Junior Brudvik is back in. And she will replace Grieve. Porter with the throw-in. Headed away. Peterson running and into a dangerous part of the field, especially for E-Dub. There's the right foot and the rebound. Knocked back toward Peterson. Still trying to clear are the Lions. Finally able to get close. Monroe right there in the center and finally not clear. We'll see what kind of speed Lake has. As she tracks it over here on the right-hand side, and it will be off the far or the near touchline. Now a quick throw-in, trying to find Lake on the attack. And now knocked out. Edmonds Woodway very disciplined in their defense. Porter knew the stakes with the 4-goal lead, that all she has to do is just buy a little time and then finally knock it out and allow her defensive partners to come up and set the shape of this back line. No need to rush or try to be a hero at that point. Now she'll just play right on Lake and knock it out once again. So once again, time killing. Although you don't really have to kill time as you would if you were in a 1-0 situation. It's obvious that these kids have been coached extremely well in the working up to this state playoff match. And now Tal just says hello and makes a brief appearance for the first time in the half. And boy, it's games like these where you come into an opposing team and really almost struggle. I don't know that struggle is quite the word I'm looking for, but there's going to be a lot of discontent on the side of the Auburn Mountainview squad, especially after making a run this far up from the south, playing in 34-degree weather for the better part of an hour and a half. Taking a soccer shellacking at the hands of the Warriors and then having to get back on a bus. It makes for a long, long afternoon. On a school night, no doubt. But that's what state playoffs are, and I'm sure that they were just as excited as anybody to be able to make that trip. And now with 7 minutes to go, it's pretty much score a goal and try to recover some sense of offense. Moral victory, if you will, although it's hard to swallow those terms. Haley Porter doing an outstanding job on defense, and that will be a goal kick. She is patient. She shields well. She understands the role of the attacker in front of her. I'm impressed so far by the sophomore. And she's coming on this side and playing like, as a substitute, and playing like she belongs there in that right back spot. No doubt we'll see more of her in years to come. And can't forget, you've got a couple of your stalwarts, your stars. Maddie Schultz coming back. Ashley Fonson coming back. Gabby Clark, only a junior. Savannah Norton, who was able to score there in the 68th minute, she's coming back. McKee is only a sophomore. Scholl, a sophomore. You've got a great nucleus in which to build here on Edmonds Woodway. There's no doubt about that. But the magical season is probably this one. Not often you're going to boast you've got 4 Div 1 athletes on a single team at any sport. And they just pass the ball extremely well. It's a very possession-oriented soccer team. And Long just gives it up. Another bit of time killing. And right now pressing just a little bit are the Lions, although even that said, when they bring everybody but 4 forward, Edmonds Woodway still able to put on the attack as Ellie Scholl gets into the mix. Maddie Schultz has been off the field now for about 20 minutes. And not a bad decision to rest her. Remember, you've got to play if you're going to get as far as a potential state championship run. You've got 3 more 80-minute matches to play inside a week, or just over a week, 9 days. So to be able to rest the legs of a Maddie Schultz, to get a Riley Peterson some extra rest, even though the running gunners, the Haley Holes in the midfield and the Ellie Scholes up that left-hand side, to get them a couple extra minutes off their feet would be outstanding if you're head coach Bill LeCompte. And of course, the biggest thing is to keep everybody healthy on a cold night, coming off the bench, and potential for hamstrings and turf toe. It's not exactly a warm and fuzzy field that they're running out there on, that the pebbles of the artificial turf. Three minutes to play now in regulation, pending the extra time, and I doubt there will be much, especially with the 4-0 score. Edmonds Woodway three early goals, 7th, 12th, and 22nd minute to really set the stage, and from there really did not have to do a whole heck of a lot. Great rebound goal by Savannah Norton. And now here's another shot. Beat the keeper. Now it's a one-on-one and a right-footed blast right into a great job of defending by the senior forward, Nicole Gardner. You know, had to track all the way back, especially after Pfizer came off her line bit early and then realized she was in trouble. And a corner kick now. Fonson will set the stage. And a low entry. Here's the right-footed No, into the area. Now they'll go back to Fonson. She'll try to clear. Far post has one running on. Header is cleared. Excellent job on the far side in defense. That was Sarah Bailey that went up and headed that one clear. And that will go back to Edmonds Woodway on the far touchline. No, they say Lions. We're got the 2-minute mark on the stadium scoreboard here. I am about a minute, just shy of a minute on my timer in the final 2. And of course the final 2 minutes kept on the field. I feel pretty confident that I don't have to explain the overtime rules at this point in time. 4-0. And that one knocked away. Cole Gardner doesn't want her season to end. She's been about as active as anyone for the Lions. And now the long throw in trying to find Lake. And she'll gather it in. Knocked away. 30 seconds remaining here in the first round of the state playoffs. Edmonds Woodway looking to move right along. The next opponent has a lot more credentials. But that's what you expect. And now an offside call. Easy one to make as Melissa Long was about 3 yards past the defense line. And I am showing right now on to the final 2 minutes. So we are into extra time at Edmonds District Stadium. And I imagine that referee Brian Arms will call it at any moment, and there it is. It's a tough one if you're a senior and you realize that this is it. And senior forward Nicole Gardner falls right to the ground, and I can't tell you if she's injured in the physical form or just realizes that this is all there is to have, all there is to bear in her final game of her senior season here, and it ends at the hands of the Edmonds Woodway Warriors. Also, senior goalkeeper Rachel Pfizer comes over and consoles her, and that will be the ball game. Edmonds Woodway with a 4-0 win over the Auburn Mountainview Lady Lions, and they will move on in the state run. We'll take a quick break, come back, wrap things up here on the Sound Live Sports Network. Thanks for being part of the evening. E-Dub with the win, 4-0.
People assume quality car insurance has to cost more. People assume too much. The truth is, drivers who switched to Allstate last year saved money and got better protection. So get the facts, because you know what they say about people who assume. They pay more for car insurance than you and me.
To see how much you can save on car insurance and much more, call Jeff Smar. Jeff's office serves many areas including Linwood, Edmonds, Bothell, and Mountainview Terrace. He can be reached at 425-949-7103 or jeffsmar@allstate.com.
Welcome to Northwest Best, brought to you by Smart Service Subaru. Here's your host, Mike Halsey.
We're back at the Red Onion in Mountainview Terrace, and I'm with the owner, Sean, and the food here is absolutely terrific. The burgers are made with 100% beef, made to order with fresh ingredients. And you're involved in a lot of community projects.
Yes, Mike, we are. With the help of our loyal customers, we're able to give back to our community. Such as we take 100 kids shopping with cops and join us for our terrific Tuesday fundraisers. Join us
at Red Onion Burger.
And thank you for watching.
Welcome back on the Sound Live Sports Network. Our Red Onion Burgers player of the game. If you were paying attention to any part of the first 22 minutes of this ball game, it should be fairly obvious who our player of the game is for the Red Onion Burger. Player of the game, that is none other than Maddie Schultz, the forward, the junior, who was able to score in the 7th, 12th, and 22nd minute, the hat trick. Inside 20 minutes, and she is our Red Onion player of the game, was able to gather the assist, and I could not tell you who had it. I'd have to go back and look. Right at her feet it fell. just inside the 6-yard box and was able to turn and put some composure together and put a left foot right between the wickets of the goalkeeper, Pfizer, and into the back of the net for a 1-0 score. And it only took 5 minutes thereafter before she was able to take the ball down the left-hand side, put a hesitation move on the defender and able to bust by, and again, right about the same spot, just outside the 6-yard box, was able to escape the keeper, Fonson, once again with her right foot, and into the back of the net, 2-0 E-Dub. And then 10 minutes, it took a whopping 10 minutes later before she was able to score straight away, and that was pretty much the damage. It was all done by then. A tag-on goal by Savannah Norton in the 68th minute was able to get us to our final tally, 4-0. Edmonds Woodway pitched the shutout against the Auburn Mountainview Lady Lions, and they will move on to play either Seattle Prep, ranked number 2 in the state, or Sumner, ranked number 6 in the state. Either one of those teams, depending on who wins, one of them's done. Number 6 Sumner or number 2 Seattle Prep. You already have the privilege of eliminating one of them before you meet in the next round. And that will be, well, either probably Thursday or Friday would be my guess, either the 14th or the 15th. And then on to the Friday, November 21st, and Saturday, November 22nd. If you're playing Saturday, you're playing for first, second, third, or fourth. And that's where all these kids would love to be a week from today. So thanks for being with us on the Sound Live Sports Network. Teresa Whipple and Angela Como for guiding us along. I'm Keith Neely saying thanks very much for joining us. Edmonds Woodway with the W, 4-0. First round state playoffs. They're moving on, and we'll see you down the road. Good night.